Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. I start, as usual, when we start anything, with the name of God, the All-Merciful, the Compassionate. All praise is due to God, Lord of all beings, the All-Merciful, the Compassionate, Master of the Day of Judgment. You alone we worship, and from you alone we seek help. Guide us on the straight path, the path of those whom you have given your bounties, not the path of those who deserve your chastisement, and neither those who have gone astray. I welcome all of you. Today is going to be a very exciting day. Lots of things will happen, inshallah. But before we go any further, can someone tell me what's the meaning of chastisement? You heard me in the translation of the Fatiha mention the word chastisement. Anyone? I don't want anyone, whenever you speak Islam, whenever you recite Quran, whenever you translate a saying of the Prophet, you've got to know what it means. We are not parents, okay? So what's the meaning of that big word, chastisement? Anyone? Any English nerds? No nerds here? No nerds?
Here.
Oh, you're a nerd, okay. No, I don't. Okay, what's the meaning of chastisement?
Discipline or punishment?
Is discipline, you gave me the meaning, but is discipline the same as punishment? No, it's not. Okay, so it's more, is it more towards discipline or more towards punishment?
You tell me.
No, you tell me, because I think you know the answer.
Discipline. Punishment.
So when I paused, you knew what's the answer. Okay, so there are people who bring punishment upon themselves. They just basically, either they don't care, or they really don't think there is punishment to start with, or that punishment is not for me, but sometimes punishment is the best thing one may get. Don't you think? Do you agree? You don't? Okay, good. I would like those who don't agree. Okay, why don't you agree that punishment is good? Sometimes, not always. I didn't hear you. Say, speak. I'm proud of you. Don't look at him. He doesn't know anything. Okay. So you tell me what? See, I told you. He's just shaking because he doesn't know anything. Okay. So, not just you're kidding. Okay. Why is punishment bad? Or is it? Is it? Hey, you want to answer me? I want everybody, come. I want you to look, come. MashaAllah, you're so pretty, you're so handsome. I almost said pretty, you're so handsome. Okay, so look at the camera and tell me, why is punishment bad?
Because punishment, you can get hurt. And
Oh.
if you get hurt, it's bad.
You know what? He made sense. Okay, now run to your seat again. Run, don't walk, run. Okay, now, because while being punished, you may get hurt. You agree? You agree? I agree. And nobody wants to get hurt. Okay, but we are talking about punishment that sometimes will correct our dangerous actions. Can someone give me an example quick? Because there's an example that's so clear. Especially people who are at the driving age. Do you drive a car? No. You don't. So I want somebody who drives a car and tell me why punishment is good sometimes. Yes, I think you know the answer. Why is it good if you are driving? Can you be more specific?
Let's say you drive over the speed limit, like, should we give you a fine? Or a speeding ticket?
You mentioned ticket, okay, because I want everybody to hear what you're saying. That sometimes it's good to be stopped by the cop if you are speeding or if you are texting while driving on the 401 or anywhere else. It's good. It is good that you will be stopped because you won't do it again.
Because it's life-threatening.
It is.
Yeah.
So it's good to be punished. It's good to pay $300. It's good to pay more than that even. Okay, I welcome the young people now. Now I would like, to give them, these are the kids from the school. I asked that they would attend because they would really relate to the topic today. So can you please give them, some front seats, please? I want them to sit in the front. Yes, or it doesn't matter. Let's get more chairs. Is Naji, where's Naji? Yes, okay, let's get more chairs, please, and let's all sit, inshallah. Ihab, can you make sure that the camera is recording? It is? You can see it from here? Okay. Now, mashallah, mashallah. That's wonderful. Okay. Now, is everybody happy?
Yes.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Because if there's someone who's not happy, I will not say a word. There's someone I'm looking at, he doesn't look very happy. He's not smiling. Now he's smiling. MashaAllah, now he's smiling. Let me see, everybody is smiling. There's someone who's going to smile a lot. Why are you looking in the back? I'm looking at you. Do you remember something that happened last week? She said yes. Will that make you happy? Are you sure? So, are you expecting something today? She said yes. What is it that you're expecting? No, I shouldn't ask this question because when we promise, we have to deliver. So what did we promise last week? A prize. Is there a prize anywhere? That looks like a prize. Wow, ooh, this is beautiful. This is beautiful. Ooh. Do you like to do crafts work? And if you don't, I'll give it to someone else. It looks really, shall I show it to everybody? Sure.
Nice.
Yes. So you deserve it because you won the game. Are you going to participate today in another game? But you cannot win a prize every week. Can we say mashallah?
Mashallah.
MashaAllah. Now, before we go any further, I would like the lights to be dimmed, please, because we are going to watch a 12 minutes video that I would like you to make your chairs such that you can see clearly. If you don't, move to where you can see clearly, because what you are about to see is very important. Very important. And you try to keep mental notes. Try to keep mental notes. Meaning, remember what's in here because we want to talk about it, inshallah. But please, while you're watching, don't talk. Because you're supposed to listen.
The tycoons of social media have to stop pretending that they're friendly nerd gods building a better world and admit they're just tobacco farmers in t-shirts, selling an addictive product to children. Because let's face it, checking your likes is the new smoking. Philip Morris just wanted your lungs. The App Store wants your soul.
There are 2 billion people, more than 2 billion people on Facebook. That's more than the number, it's about the number of notional followers of Christianity. People check their phones 150 times a day, the millennial sort of audience. And so if you think about it, from the moment you wake up, it's like you're jacked in to this environment. And thoughts start streaming into your head, designed by a few technology companies.
What we find is the typical person checks their phone every 15 minutes or less, and half of the time they check their phone, there's no alert, no notification. It's coming from inside their head telling them, gee, I haven't checked in Facebook in a while. I haven't checked on this Twitter feed for a while. I wonder if somebody commented on my Instagram post. That then generates cortisol, and it starts to make you anxious, and eventually your goal is to get rid of that anxiety, so you check in.
And apparently we feel stressed when we can't get our phone or when our battery is about to die. You probably know this feeling. And a research done in Australia among 3,000 people under the age of 30 found that 9 out of every 10 admit to feel this anxiety while having his battery dying.
Steve Jobs revolutionized the entire world with the iPhone, and he never let his children use it because he did not want them dependent on technology.
Right now, an infant is getting their first laptop that's soft and squishy and makes noise. Right now, a child is being born online and being favorited and retweeted.
The hypergenerational segregation of our time is bizarre, unhealthy, and historically unprecedented. You've never seen the like of people sitting at a table in a restaurant not talking to each other because they're texting and using their Facebook and Instagram and Twitter, and they are at the table and don't even know each other, in the house and can't even talk to each other. And the pressure that's on us to be like everybody else is so great that everybody tries to live like they're in a reality show.
As a culture, we don't have enough in common anymore. And that's because the internet, which was supposed to unite the world, has become too adept at serving us personalized content. Do you know what I saw on Yahoo's front page this morning? No, you don't, because mine isn't the same as yours. People get news feeds now that just spit back customized stories based on what we've clicked on in the past.
We are great consumers, but poor producers. We will buy what we can't afford with money that we don't have to impress people we don't even know, trying to be like everybody else. Get off of Facebook and put your face in a book.
Right now, a teenager is photoshopping their selfie because as a society, we're telling them they're not good enough. Right now, influencers encourage narcissism without knowing the breadth and depth of their impact on their audiences. Right now, 40,000 spectators are in an Olympic football arena watching a competitive esports competition because this is this generation's football match.
There's always this narrative that technology is neutral and it's up to us to choose how we use it. This is just not true.
Technology is not neutral.
It's not neutral. They want you to use it in particular ways and for long periods of time because that's how they make their money.
You don't realize it, but you are being programmed. It was unintentional, but now you got to decide how much you're willing to give up, how much of your intellectual independence. If you feed the beast, that beast will destroy you. If you push back on it, we have a chance to control it and rein it in. And it is a point in time where people need to hard break from some of these tools and the things that you rely on. The short-term dopamine-driven feedback loops that we have created are destroying how society works. No civil discourse, no cooperation, misinformation, mistruth. And it's not an American problem. This is not about Russian ads. This is a global problem.
I challenge everyone to try going 1 week without social media.
Don't let your phone and social media control you.
I hope that these images alert us to a real problem that we want to discuss this afternoon, and I hope that all of us get to participate in this discussion. Now, Naji is in trouble because next week you will not be bringing one present or one gift. You will be bringing more than that. So that's why you will be in trouble. So the first prize winner is the first young person who will tell me how many times a day we check our iPhone. I saw you raise your hand first. Yes. 150 times. Ooh, that's a lot. That is, how many times do we pray? Yes. 5 times. But we check our phone 150 times. That's how many times more than we pray. How many times? Yeah, but just by, I know it's too much for you. How many times more? 30 times more we check our phone than we pray. Okay? So are you gonna come inshallah next week to get your present?
I come here every Sunday.
Every Sunday, mashallah. So, Naji, this is the first prize. See, I told you you're in trouble. Now, every how many minutes or hour or day do we check our phone? You answer for me. Every how many minutes or days or hours we check our iPhone? Every 15 minutes. Now, can you tell me how much time is there between Fajr prayer and Zuhr prayer? Tell me, well, we can think about it.
12 hours?
6 hours.
6 hours, yeah.
6 hours.
6 hours. You can do a lot of things between Fajr and Zuhr. But, can the math whiz who answered the first question tell me how many 15 minutes are there in those 6 hours? Quickly. How many 15 minutes are there in those 6 hours? 24. It's okay. 24. So, between Fajr prayer and Zuhr prayer, how many times people usually check their phones? 24 times. But you will get a present. Now, when the battery of your phone dies down and you are doing something, what happens in your body? I'm scared to ask you. because I know you know the answer. And you don't want the present. No, there's a very young person who wants to tell us what happens in the body. You tell me. What happens? Anxiety.
Present.
Present. But first, wait a minute. Do you know what anxiety is? What is anxiety?
Fear.
You become nervous, you become afraid, you're upset. That's anxiety. You still will get a present. But I want someone who is older than 15 years of age to tell me when you become anxious, there is a chemical that your body... Who knows what chemical your body... You see, even for a battery, your body starts to secrete. You see, Ammu Amir Abeid is Googling that chemical. You cannot... okay. What's that chemical? Oh, I know you are more than 15. You want to tell me? You're not more than 15. You are. So what is the chemical that your body starts to secrete? Cortisol. Number 4, present. Naji would say, sorry, after today we are canceling this meeting because, the budget of the Islamic Center cannot support this kind of irresponsible behavior. But, so what is the number of this present? 4. Okay, so 4. You will get your present, inshallah. Now, true or false? True or false? Technology is neutral. Technology, first of all, if you're going to answer, you have to tell me what does it mean. What does that mean? Okay. You want to, I think you participated, you deserve a present. So if you know the answer, is it true or false? Technology is neutral.
False.
It's false. What does it mean? You just heard. Yeah, so what does it mean? So technology, so is this controlling me? So it's neutral.
Companies invent.
Yes, keep going.
Inventing.
Companies
Inventing
new ideas in technology so that they will get us hooked on these things and buy more and more and more. And they get more money. They don't care about what happens to infants or older people or people who sleep with the iPhone being charged by their night table and all the waves that keep coming to their brain. Little infants are being affected by, the same as we saw, cigarette companies couldn't care less. If people die of lung cancer or what, they couldn't care less. Present number?
5.
Do you want to see, you have to call him Uncle Naji. So come, see how depressed he has become. Come. I want to show you. Look, he is looking so depressed. You see that person who's laughing? You see, I know him. When he gets depressed, he starts to laugh. Look at him. He is depressed. He doesn't want to show it, okay. But it is present number 5. So technology companies couldn't care less. Okay. Naji, I think we will stop at number 5. I think we will stop at number 5. Let me say this. Okay, before I will open the floor, okay, for your comments. Where's Tariq? He is the one who demanded that. I know he's busy. Okay, he will.
He must be praying.
Is he?
Should be.
Okay. So we will get him. Anyway, listen to this, kids. Okay. I want to tell you that there is a conversation now, very important conversation, because there is a sponsor for those presents. I can feel that someone is saying, I will sponsor all those presents and I will buy them from my company. So next week I will, inshallah, and he's shaking his head. He's saying this. So inshallah, let's say to your Uncle Amir, my son Amir, we love you. May Allah, Allahu Akbar. You heard Amir speaking. He's the one who put together the panel when I was away. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless you and increase you from His abundance, inshallah. I want to now tell something that older people will understand a little bit more, but you bear with me. It means, be patient with me. Sit nicely on the chair, if you may, please. Very good, because remember, we are sitting in the prayer area. Okay, so we have to sit nicely and properly and not talk to each other and look at Uncle Munir and not, do this, okay, because we are sitting in the prayer area. Now, people who have gone for Hajj or who would like to go for Hajj or know about Hajj know that there are some restrictions when you are in a state that is called ihram. For men, they put those white sheets, the one on top and the one on the bottom, and they are just putting on those sheets. While they are in that state, they cannot remove a weed from the ground. They cannot engage in hunting to eat if they don't have food. In old days, they didn't have hotels and restaurants and things. They really needed to eat, but they could not hunt to eat. And God, at the time of Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, wanted to test the Prophet's companions, so He brought close to them animals that they could hunt if they did not have the state of ihram. If they didn't, they could hunt. But God said that these animals, not only you could really hunt with your bow and arrow, but you could even, because of the abundance, you can hunt them by hand. You can catch them, And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned in Surah Al-Ma'idah, يَا أَيُّهَا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا لَيَبْلُوَنَّكُمُ اللَّهُ بِشَيْءٍ مِّنَ الصَّيْدِ تناله أيديكم ورماحكم. Allah is going to provide you with that. Why? Because God wants to see, are you going to follow your instinct and say, I can catch it, I can catch it. God said, you're not allowed to. And you would say, but God now, is God seeing me? Is God watching me? Can I catch it and then, I will hide it? You cannot hide anything from God. God said, don't do it, even though you can hunt with your hand. Have you seen those videos? Actually, I saw it last week, where fish, big fish, were swimming in large numbers, okay, and there was a pelican, running after those fish because, the pelican could just, with its beak, just catch it. Did anybody see it? Nobody did. You did? Okay. And it's tempting. I said, if I were there, I would catch those fish. It's so tempting. Okay? But God said, when you are in a state of ihram, you have to show, if you fear Allah in the unseen, while Allah is watching you and you cannot see Him, you have to show that you fear Him. In today's modern technology days, God provided us with instruments whereby you can just move your finger or just hit a button and you could see things that you're not supposed to see. Sometimes you are watching or you're playing a game and something comes up and you know that it's haram. Does anyone not know the meaning of haram? You don't know the meaning of haram? You know the meaning, that's what everybody knows the meaning of haram, okay? So, if you are on your iPhone every 15 minutes, are we going to correct? We'll talk about correcting our behavior later, okay? But if you're on your iPhone and then something pops up, and, ooh. No, I don't do that, don't laugh. Don't laugh, you are bad. She started to laugh even before I, stopped laughing. She can't stop laughing. Anyway, okay, it's haram. What will you do? What will you do? I tell you, older people who are in their mid-20s, early 30s, 40s, you know that in the circles of haram, may Allah get us away from those circles of haram. If people wanted to access haram, they had to struggle. It wasn't easy. They had to go out of their way to get to haram. And some of them did get to haram. Today, it's so easy. Today, it's so easy. And Allah is testing your generation, those who owned an iPhone wrongly by the time they were 4 or 5 years of age. And I'm looking at the parents and saying, it's your fault. It's your fault that you bought those iPhones and those laptops, iPads at an early age. And now, when we watched why our children and old people are hooked, because if somebody grew up hooked on something, they cannot live without it. They can't live without it. So now we know how dangerous it is that just by a push of a button, or even without pushing anything, something will come on the screen. If you are not fearing Allah, while you are not seeing Him, then we're in trouble. Now I want to read a saying of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. I will read it first in Arabic and then I will translate it, and listen to this because I want you to know. Does anybody have an iPhone? I just want to. Anyone? Okay. Okay. Very light. Very light. It doesn't weigh much. But this very light instrument, or whatever you call it, may weigh very heavily on the day of judgment. This iPhone that you don't think much of, it's very light, it's nothing. On the day of judgment, it can weigh very heavily, and you don't want that to happen. Can I keep it? You sure? Can you live without it? You hesitated, and I know you can't. Don't feel bad. I know you can't. Okay? We'll talk about it later, but don't feel bad. You will still get your present. Okay? Now, I want everybody to listen to this. It's a hadith reported by one of the 7 people, scholars, who were experts in hadith. They collected hadith. One of them is called Ibn Majah. Ibn Majah reported a hadith that is rated by the scholars as sahih, it's authentic. Would you like to know? And it is related by someone who used to be with Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, following him wherever he went, because his mother, the mother of this person called Thawban, came to Prophet Muhammad ﷺ and said, O Messenger of Allah, can my son Thawban be with you to serve you? Whatever you need from him, he will get it for you. Okay, but please let him get your company. Rasulullah ﷺ said, by all means. Thawban used to listen and watch Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, and he is the one who said, I heard Prophet Muhammad ﷺ say the following. Please pay attention. I'll say it in Arabic and I'll translate it. For those who don't know Arabic, bear with me. It's not very long. I will translate it, and I want you to know what did our teacher, our beloved Muhammad ﷺ say. He said, Rasulullah ﷺ, Prophet Muhammad, he said, لَأَعْلَمَنَّ أَقْوَامًا مِنْ أُمَّتِي يأتون يوم القيامة بحسنات أمثال جبال تهامة أو تهامة بيضاء فيجعلها الله عز وجل هباء منثورا. Listen. Prophet Muhammad said, I know, because he knows, what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants him to know. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and he told us, he said, I know people who will come on the day of judgment with loads of good deeds. Loads. They've done so much good in their lives. And so much that if you look at the mountains of Tuhama, they are in Arabia, those mountains, they are white, because even at the peaks of those mountains during the winter they get snow. So people in Arabia who don't see snow in those days, now they're seeing snow. Things have changed. Okay, they say that their good deeds are so white, clean. But then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will look at those good deeds, say, too bad. How unfortunate. God will say, how unfortunate that they've done good deeds. Wait a minute. Now, Thawban said, O Messenger of Allah, please tell us, who are those people, so that we will not be like them. We don't want our good deeds to be scattered, to be useless. Who are those people? And then Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam answered, Ama innahum ikhwanukum wa akhawatukum min jildatikum ya'khudhuna min al-layli kama ta'khudhun walakinnahum idha khalaw bimaharim Allah intahakuha. He said, there are people like yourselves. They are Muslims. They are Muslims? Yes, they are Muslims, like yourselves. And they do what you do. They pray the same as you pray. They even wake up in the middle of the night. But they had a problem. And that is, whenever they were alone by themselves, nobody is watching, they ignored the fact that Allah is watching all the time. So whenever they are alone, the doors are closed, they started to look at bad things. They started to speak in chat rooms with the wrong people, and they started to flatter, and they started to say bad words, and they started to, laugh hysterically. Nobody is at home, so we can do anything we want. They started to behave in a way that if mom or dad or brother or sister will open the door, they will be terrified. And we say to those people, why would you be terrified from your mom and dad and brother and sister, and you're not terrified for what you are doing? We're not supposed to be terrified, but if you are doing something bad, you should be terrified. We are not usually terrified of God because we love God. We fear God. We fear Him, with that sweet fear. You fear that He may get upset with you if you are doing something bad. So if you are holding your iPhone, or if you are, looking at your iPad, and someone at school say, you know what? Do you want me to tell you something, but don't tell anybody? I discovered, a site. This is how you get there. Just go and check it out. It's so goofy. Did you say goofy? It's so cool. And they say, oh, tell me, what's it? No, go and see it yourself. Go, man. Even if you are a girl or you say, go, man. Well, why did they say, but that's what they talk. That's how they talk. And then you go, and it's bad. You know that God is watching. If you happen to do that, then Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, don't be afraid, because you don't do that. If you happen to do that, then you are one of those that Prophet Muhammad ﷺ is talking about. We don't want to be like those people. We do good deeds, and we want to keep our good deeds. We don't want them to be scattered. We don't want God to say, all the good deeds you've done are no good. No. Because when we are alone or with other people, we are Muslims. And we have to behave while we are alone the same as we behave when we are with other people. Now, I'll talk more about this, but now I would like someone to tell me how many brave people are there here? How many brave, who will say things because we're not going to say anything bad, because, okay, first of all, do you have an iPhone? No. You don't own one. Do you have an iPhone? You don't own one. Good for you. Do you have one? No, I'm not going to say bad for you, because I said good for him. Okay, do you have an iPhone?
I just play with my mom's old phone.
Do you have an iPhone? Sometimes. Do you have an iPhone? But you have... MashaAllah, I like how strong she is, and I don't have one. Okay, don't ask me any more questions. Okay, now the one sitting behind you who laughs a lot, do you think she owns one? The one sitting behind you who laughs. She has a beautiful smile, by the way. Do you have an iPhone? Yes. Okay. Now, can I ask you a question? Are you brave?
Yeah.
Did it ever happen while you are on your phone that something pops up or popped up that you knew you were not supposed to look at? Yes. Yes. Brave. I'm proud of you. Before I continue, I'm proud of you. Okay? And so should your parents be proud of you. Are they here?
Nope.
You came by yourself?
She's in school. Yeah.
You are in the school. MashaAllah. Okay. Now, so she can say anything she wants. Okay. Now, what do you do if this happens?
X out of it.
You what?
X out of it. Like if there's an X at the top.
I have to ask my son, what does that mean? She X out of it.
Just X.
Cross it.
Cancel. Okay. So, be careful with me, please. Don't use big words. I X out of it. See, they have, by the way, not all technology is bad, okay? Because now we have to respect they have their own ways of communication, okay? We have to learn, okay? So immediately, or do you say, let me see how bad it is?
Nope.
No. Okay, now, so that I don't come to each one of you, now I want every person, it's okay, young, old, whatever, who owns or have access to an iPhone or an iPad or, to raise their hand. No, something electronic, something you can, how many, okay, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Okay, Allahu Akbar, okay, good. You know what? I would say 80% have access to an iPhone. How many do not have access? How many do not have an iPhone, period? They don't have an iPhone. Allahu Akbar. Can I, don't start fighting now, okay? They almost started to fight with each other, okay? Stop, okay. X out of it. I said X out of it. You taught me that. Okay, now, Brother Mir, I'm very proud of you. You are the one, by the way, if anyone wants to know, the one who taught me what a computer is and what it does, it's Brother Mir Sahib, okay? He's the one who did it. And now I'm asking, he and his son, when I said, do you have an iPhone? They raised their hand, they said, no, we don't. Okay, I'm really proud because I know you have principles that you have to follow and teach others. So, Brother Mir, do you miss not having an iPhone? You don't. Don't people send you emails, or do you?
They send email by normal computer. I don't miss the iPhone because it saves me a lot of time, and I see what other people waste it, and so much they can do, and so I don't want to waste my time. And I know there's so much fitna in it. So computer.
You mentioned the word fitna. Anybody who doesn't know what is fitna? Okay, fitna is an Arabic word that means, to be swayed by things that are not fact, but you think they are fact and you want to do them. And so you become, all over the place. This is fitna. Okay, this is fitna. Now, let me ask your son, okay? Do your friends have iPhones? Don't you feel that if they have iPhones, why can't I have ones? Do you feel that? Don't worry, I know your father. He's a very gentle person. He's not going to do anything. Sometimes. So sometimes you wish you had what they had, the iPhone. Do you discuss that with your parents?
I did once.
You did once. Okay. What was the? Do you mind if I speak with him? No. Okay. So, what did they say to you?
Nope, you're not gonna have one.
Okay. Were you convinced? Please, don't worry about him. I will speak with him. You were not convinced.
I was convinced.
You were convinced. Just by them saying, no, you're not gonna have one? You're easy to raise. Can I change my son with yours? My son is now shaking his head. What did I do to you? Okay, now, I want to tell you, not all kids are like you. Not all kids are like you. And I heard the sister say, MashaAllah. I want everybody to say, MashaAllah. MashaAllah. Okay, now, I want older people, okay, to realize that there are dangers to apps on the iPhone that are dangerous without us realizing. There is something in the Quran, in a short surah, that talks about hasad, envy. And we are not realizing what the iPhone and the app called Facebook. And yes, say something.
My mom, she's always on Facebook. I expose her She's not
By the way, this is being taped, and your mom is going to watch this on YouTube, and then your mom will tell you no more Islamic school.
No. Whenever I say that, she's like, why do you say that? I'm telling the truth.
Okay, so she's always on Facebook. Now, one thing I want to say, please, mothers, please, wives, please, single women, single men, fathers, everybody, please, if you are having a big feast at home, inviting people over, and you tell them, don't start eating, I want to take a picture and I want to put it on Instagram. Now, you know what this means? Instagram, there are people who watch it who could not even dream to eat what you have just put on Instagram and on Facebook. For you probably think that I want people who know me to just see what I'm doing, but you have to realize there are poor people out there who could see it and say, why not me? And without them realizing, they feel envy, and that can affect you. Yes?
You classify all the phones as like, not just iPhone, because it's just one company. You just like say them as smartphones.
Do you work for, what you call it, Microsoft? Yeah, he works for Microsoft. Do you know him? Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Okay, no, you're right. You're absolutely right. So it's not, I'm not going to say a smartphone.
Yes, smartphone is a better thing.
Smartphone, excuse me. Excuse me. I'm going to stop right there. Now, yes, smartphones and what you put on the apps that are on the smartphones is dangerous. Quite often, girls and young men who were really looking to get married, and they find pictures of weddings and things, they say, why not me? People who are sick, ill, and they see pictures of those who are having bungee jump. What do you want, bungee or bungee? Jump, smart jump. Smart jump.
Or a dive.
A dive. It's better. Okay, they say, why can't I do it? People who cannot afford to go to Pakistan or Egypt or Lebanon or Turkey for the holidays, they say, why not me? And I am seeing the outcome. I cannot prove it is from hasad or jealousy or envy, but I'm seeing the outcome on people, on married people, on families breaking apart, because one wonders, is it because now we are bringing this to ourselves? Now, you've seen in the video clip that families don't talk with each other anymore. And then the husband and wife, they are bored of each other because they did not learn how to speak with one another. When my parents did not have television, by the way, I was 17 years old before my father got us a second-hand television. Okay? Now There is a television set in, and you know, I want to ask people who really after those things that are controlling our lives. Now I ask people, what is Black Friday? I know you know, and I know you know, and you know, I know everybody knows what Black Friday. I did not know. What is Black Friday? A Black Friday, I was told, some people on Thursday took blankets and they went and they stayed in front of Best Buy and in front of Walmart. And in the States, there are people who die because people trample over them as they go to just grab, and there were people saying, I got a 65-inch LG television flat screen for $600. Usually it sells for $900. You don't know that? No, what I'm saying, people go crazy after those things. Now, there was a time when life was LG. You got it, sort of?
Yeah.
What did I say? The LG thingy.
The publicity.
What does it mean? When life was LG. Life is good. That's what it means. Okay? And I tell you, life was good when my grandmother used to gather us around the ambers in the, what do you call the fire, whatever, at home, where you put the, and she would tell us stories about Prophet Ibrahim and Prophet Yunus and Prophet Musa and, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and we used to get so excited. And when it was 7:30 or 8 o'clock at night in winter, then we will go and just get under the blankets, and then my brothers and I would be, on mattresses on the floor. And we will be just putting the blanket and continuing to talk about my grandmother's stories. We didn't take the smartphone with us under the blanket because mom may check on us now, so I want to just continue what I'm doing under the... We didn't have those things. Alhamdulillah, life was really good when, my father will come from work and tell us about the stories of the old days. I still remember many of his stories until today, but they are slowly getting away from my memory. And, today, I wonder if our kids are going to have memories, because now things are available. They don't need... I love that statement by one of the speakers. I think it's dying now because it's okay. It's okay. When he said, get off from Facebook and get your face in a book. That is brilliant. That is brilliant. Today, statistics show that our children, I should say our children, today statistics show that the global population, people all over the world, dropped their reading time, reading of a book, by 10%, and that is millions of people. 10%, people don't read anymore. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when He sent the last revelation, He called it Quran, to tell us that we should read. And the first word that was revealed was read. Iqra. Now we should be reading not only the Quran, We should be reading everything. And yes, I say everything at different stages of your life, because there are certain things, if you read when you are young, they will cause fitna, meaning they will confuse you. Now, you should have your parents' guidance. You know, what's PG?
Oh.
What's PG?
Parent guidance.
Parental guidance. Does that appear on your smartphone?
No.
No. And I want to tell parents, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, wallahi, will be asking you on the day of judgment about PG. What did you do with PG? Wallahi, Allah will ask us. إِنَّهُمْ يَرَوْنَهُ بَعِيدًا وَنَرَاهُ قَرِيبًا. While we are alive, we think that our meeting with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is don't tell us about these things now. It's so far, I don't want to think about it. But Allah is saying, you know, it is so soon. You know, wallahi, I want to tell you, when I first arrived into this country, I was at that time 21 years old. And I always, you know, said, oh, people who are in their 40s are older people. In their 50s, they are really old. In their 60s, these are people that we call the oldest of the old. Wallahi, by Allah, in no time, I feel it was yesterday, now I am 63. Yes, you should see what she did. She said, oh. That's okay. No, but the thing is, in no time you will, inshallah, be in your 60s and 70s and 90s and 100. How long do you want to live? You want to live into your 90s. How long do you want to live? As long as Allah wants me to live, okay? But you know, if we want to live long, we have to wish that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will help us to accumulate good deeds. Because if we live long and we do bad deeds, and your generation, your key to good deeds is with you, but that same key can open a box of bad, the same key. Now, I did not have a smartphone when I was your age, or when I was double your age, or when I was triple your age, or 4 times your age, or 5 times. I didn't have that. Okay? But now I want you to be very careful. I want the young children now in that time left for us to tell me, you see, we can't just talk about problems and things. You know, we will continue, inshallah. But I want parents, children, everybody. You know, I told you that in Fort McMurray, we made 2 recommendations for the social media. I want us. If you cannot commit, say, I'm sorry, I can't. I want us, all of us, we are one family, to choose one day. Some of you may say, I choose 2 or 3, or I will choose, that's it, okay? But who can not check their smartphone every 15 minutes or 150 times a day one day of the week will say my phone will be in my drawer. I will not look at it. I will not use it. Okay? Can I see a show of those who can do that? If you can, don't raise your hand. But those who would say, MashaAllah, okay, one day my phone will be locked in my drawer. Can I see? Amir, don't raise your hand. I know because you cannot do that. You do your business on your smartphone. Okay? But how many can do it for 2 days a week? 2 days a week, no smartphone.
Wait, can I say something?
Yes, she wants to say something quickly. Okay, put your, yes.
I feel like people now, like, used to go on TV a lot and watch. Now Netflix is out, lots of people go on Netflix.
Yes.
And now like using apps, so people go on their smartphone.
Okay, but they still spend lots of time, okay, on, is there someone who spends more than 5 hours a day on Facebook?
Facebook? Okay, bye.
Please, be brave and honest. How many? Nobody. How many spend between 2 and 4 hours on Facebook?
No, I don't believe this. I can't.
Okay, so now, the first thing I would like us to do as a plan is to hide your phone for 1 or 2 or 3 days a week. Yes.
My mom gives me a plan, so I could only play Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
MashaAllah. She says you can only use your phone Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Parents, please, that's something we should do. We should do. I cannot do it with my son because he's bigger than me. Okay?
Yes.
So Muhammad, can I have your phone, please? Can I have your phone? He's responding. We'll talk about it later. Okay, now, so this is plan number 1. Plan number 1. Now, I would like plan number 2 to come from you. Somebody to suggest something, because we want to control the media. We do not want the social media to control us. If you have an idea, okay, Sister Sarif.
The conclusion of this, what I got, because we have the key for bad and the good from the same technology.
Yes.
My belief, and I advise my children, that if you are spending 15 minutes of your fun time, let's spend 10 minutes and research about your deen on the same device. Let's listen some good scholar.
So use the same device to, access your deen on it, but as a family.
As a family, yeah, of course.
That's plan number 2. Is there somebody writing? Right, I want someone who types quickly. Notes, good notes. By the way, I have to tell you, okay, that MashaAllah, she promised she would send me a plan. She sent me a 2 hours email. You know that.
I did.
But I appreciated that so much, and I appreciated your email as well. Okay, a lot. And I promised, inshallah, in due time. I've been receiving, good feedback, which means that this series is working. Please don't deprive people of this. Let them come, let them participate. Bring your children, bring your neighbors. Now, plan number 2 is use the same device to access your deen. Number 3, may I suggest, unless there is a da'wah related, Islamic related dimension to it, please do not advertise your family activities on Facebook or Instagram. If you can, please raise your hand. Please don't do that. Please do not do that. MashaAllah.
What did you say?
Do not advertise, do not say on Instagram or Facebook that, or especially, ya Jama'ah, please. You know, I don't know, alhamdulillah, I don't know how to do it. You know, they say Munir El-Kassem is happy at Pearson International Airport. How do you do it, by the way? I don't want to know. Don't tell me. Don't tell people where you're going. Don't tell them.
Some
Yes.
people can. You don't have to tell people where you're going. On your phone, it says location services. It tracks where you go.
So deactivate that.
Exactly. It's under a privacy setting.
Now, number four, you triggered number 4, and that is, please, let us, I want a volunteer. I'm looking at Brother Munir, I can look at, my son-in-law, Ihab, those who really have the know-how to hold on, Naji. No, keep standing up, please. To hold on, oh, he's hiding. To hold on a workshop to show parents how to get to parental control, how to get to certain apps that really prevent bad things from happening, prevent Facebook from knowing where you are. Because I was told something alarming, that what you think, many women take pictures, selfies without hijab, and they say this is only on my private channel. Little you know that once it's taken on anything, it's there forever on cyberspace. Cyberspace, I said this word. Okay. Now, so please, is there a volunteer? Is there a volunteer? If you don't raise your hand, I will volunteer you. Okay, you have. Okay, Najib, please coordinate with him, advertise it. I want parents. Or brother, do you suggest the children as well? Please. But do you suggest that the children? I don't think so. Let's keep it for parents or anybody over 18. Anybody over 18. You're not 18, so you're not attend. Okay, so to attend this workshop and know how to deal with this dangerous beast. Okay, and is there any other suggestion? We are out of time. Yes. Yes.
Remember when you talked about people who post some posts on Instagram? Can we pause here for a sec now? Let's think about it. Some of these posts are not fully true. They're not all correct. So they're partially correct, but they, come on, you're not going to post something that you don't like, or you're not going to post something that is offensive or anything. You're just posting something for a perfect life. But let's think about it. Is there anybody that's actually that perfect? No. So I know that poor people and these people are not really aware of it, but is there any kind of way that we can actually tell them that, you know what, they're not perfect. We're all not perfect. We have all these imperfections, and
listen to me. With this, I will end. Now, the same as I asked my beloved Amir to put together a panel that talks about the challenge of being successful in this society, I will ask you for next week, I will be present, okay, to put together a panel of young people, boys and girls, okay, who will talk about the challenge of communicating through social media, to put together, those 5 points that I mentioned. You can build on them, you can, but you have to prepare a program. I leave it to you. Next week, we are having you and the panel to give us, we want to listen to you. Do you like that?
Yes.
Alhamdulillah.